All right, welcome everybody to the Friday Tech Talk at the Tech Academy. My name is Kenzie. I do marketing and outreach at the Tech Academy, and we're also joined by Rick, our student care specialist. And our guest today is Josh Matthews. He is an awesome recruiter, motivator, and he is going to give us the lowdown on interviewing and resumes and let us know which embarrassing gaffes and other things to avoid. And he's going to motivate us to get out there and get our first tech jobs. So I'll let you take it away, Josh.
Thank you so much. Super appreciate it, Kenzie. You've been awesome. Rick, appreciate you too. And thanks to all of you for carving out a little bit of a beautiful sunny day to stay inside, hopefully mask free. Not you, Tom, but that's all right. And hang out with me today. We're going to talk about some subjects that are really near and dear to my heart. And we'll just kind of look, it's going to look a little bit. Am I sharing my screen? I'm not, am I?
Not yet.
Here we go. Here we go. Entire screen. There we go. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of roll it on the side because I like to see comments here too. And just the way my presentation software is, that's just kind of the deal. So one thing that this is not, it is not a TED Talk. I'm not going to sit here and like completely like blow your mind. This stuff is, you can find almost all of this stuff on the internet. Maybe some of it's a little bit harder to find. This is not going to be life-changing, life-altering information unless you actually do something with it. And I sure really hope that everybody does. But what I mean by it's not a TED Talk is I'm really looking for engagement from you guys so that I can help you directly, specifically with the issues and challenges that you've got going on in your career track. And like, you know, getting your first tech job or getting a new tech job or better tech job and those sorts of things. So first order of business is going to be someone, 2, 3 people, send me your resume. Let's do that right now. Okay. I'm just going to shut my door because I think.
And I have gone ahead and pasted his or typed his email into the chat box if you just want to go and copy and paste that. Oh, do I have my resume handy? I'm on a new computer.
Okay, yeah. So the reason why I want you to send me your resume is because I'm going to give you some immediate direct feedback. We're going to review it, and we're going to do that in just a minute. So I'll give people a second to go ahead and grab it. Send me what you've got. I'm not looking for the prime example of an amazing resume. I've already got that. It's mine. Okay, so you don't have to send me something that's beautiful and rocking and rolling, and you don't have to be shy, embarrassed, or anything like that. This is going to be some amazing free advice and recommendations. And I was looking around for a really good example, and I just decided, well, that's silly. These guys all have examples, so go ahead and send that over right now. I'll monitor my inbox, and as soon as I grab them, we can knock it out. All right, Catherine Van Veen, thank you. All right. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Cool. Cool. Oh, yeah, yours is nice. All right. So cool. We're going to probably bring up Catherine. Oh, sorry, Katerina. I think I said it wrong. Is it Katerina?
Katerina, yes.
Sorry, say that again.
Katerina.
Okay, got it. Someone playing violin in the background. That's pretty cool. All right. Next, these are just some links. Now, these talks, whether it's my talk, your class, any other presenter who does one of these Friday Tech Talks, they're not really very good unless you're grabbing screenshots, right, and taking notes. I use Evernote, but you could use whatever you like. Some people like to handwrite that stuff. But if you're not taking notes, you will capture maybe, remember, about 6-7% of the information. That's how much you'll retain. That might actually be enough to accelerate your career. It might not be, though. So I like to de-risk these types of things and just encourage everybody to get your short key, figure out your short key on your computer or do your little screen grabs. And I thought I'd just start with the links because if you have to bail out early and I'm a little bit late in throwing this stuff up, you have that information. So I'll just walk you through this stuff real quick. We've got joshforce.com/YouTube. That is my, oh, where'd my stuff go? I know I've got it here. There we go. There's Josh Force. So you can find a bunch of the videos that I've made. Some of the ones that you might want to check out that will reinforce some of the things that we talk about today are how to avoid common interview mistakes. And even these I lost my job part 1 and part 2 are really good because they're really about how to handle things emotionally, and then how to handle things with the actual documents that you're producing, your resume, your LinkedIn. I share some good examples, bad examples, but we're going to do a lot of that live right now. So if you're interested in that, you can do that. A little bit about what I do right now. I have about a 21, 22-year history of doing recruiting and leadership in the technology staffing space. I was a vice president at Robert Half Technology for years and ran the creative group for Oregon, Southern Washington also. I've had Endeavor Staffing. I've had this for 2.5 years. This is my second time having this firm. This time around, I run the salesforcerecruiter.com. And so we're dedicated really just to people who are in the Salesforce ecosystem. But I can tell you that everything that I talk about, it really applies to anyone who's on the job hunt, specifically in the technology space. So if you would like to learn more, if you find that today's episode is really enjoyable, you can check out my Ask Me Anything show, which is on Clubhouse. You can find me at Josh Force on Clubhouse. You can join me for the Salesforce Hiring Lens. Again, it's Salesforce specific, but we do talk a lot about general hiring things, and I have co-hosts that are internal talent acquisition experts and other recruiters in the field. I answer a lot of questions, some great questions, some dumb questions on Quora. So you can find me at Josh Matthews 93. Apparently I'm the 93rd Josh Matthews on that platform. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just / Joshua Matthews. And you can check out my website and my articles. Whoops, where we go? And my articles on my website, which is here. And you just click articles and you will find all sorts of cool videos, blogs, and things like that. Okay, so that's my little introduction. And we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. And one of the things I'm kind of stoked about is it looks like we've got some other resumes. Okay, first things first, guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we're talking about how to present the very best you in the market. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about social media. So I'm kind of curious, how many of you actually think that recruiters and people who are interviewing you, hiring managers, are checking out your social media? Just a show of hands. Okay. Everyone who didn't have their hands down may find that they should put their hand up moving forward, because it's true. We do check it out, right? We like to de-risk our hires. We want to make sure that if we bring someone on board, we're looking at their resume, we're looking at their interview, their phone screens, their references, how they communicate throughout the whole interview and hiring process. And we're checking out the social media. And so with that in mind, we want to be really careful here to not be overly political. Portland, as we know, is a highly political environment, and it might work in your favor, but it's not really playing the numbers if you're leaning overtly online too hard one way. It's totally fine to have your own points of view and to share those points of view, but do be careful of the derogatory and divisive language that may alienate someone on the team who's making a decision to hire you. I'm kind of curious, has anybody ever run into that before? Have you ever had to deal with that or seen that or had to feel that from a coworker in the past? Anyone? Okay, well, you might if you're not careful, so don't do that. So, look, compromising photos. And then the other major social media gaffe is just simply a lack of appropriate involvement. And so what I mean by that is not being involved in your technical community, right? Getting on LinkedIn, joining the right groups, getting on the right Slack groups, getting in the right GitHub groups, whatever it is that's part of the community and the tech stack that you're either striving towards and want to achieve. Involvement matters. And I like to think a little bit about this picture. It's I use this one a lot. I love this picture. Look at these dudes. Oh my God. It always cracks me up. So it's one of those things you don't have to be the fastest person running. You just have to be faster than the guy next to you. Right? So just don't be the person who looks like a great candidate and then has kind of blown it because of being overtly snarky on the wrong social media platforms. We're not locking down your profile or privatizing some of your information, going off constantly in the Twitterverse. Things like that can hurt you. And I'm not even talking, guys, I'm not even talking like cancel culture stuff here. I'm just talking like just trying to get a job. You know what I mean? Just got to be kind of cool. Does that make sense?
You know, I would definitely agree with what you said. And one of the things, if you have put a lot of comments, even in your history on Facebook, I would go in and maybe even hide your Facebook or temporarily disable it due to the fact that I, as a hiring manager, I will have my HR recruiters go back and look for the last year and a half of someone's Facebook, their Twitter posts, and everything else to see if there's something challenging in their past history.
Yeah, that's really good, Tom. And I'm glad that you shared that. I mean, think about what's been going on in the last 12, 18 months that we've seen. I mean, really, it's been going on for years, right? But someone says the wrong thing to the wrong person, gets caught on video, whether they mean it or not, doesn't matter. They say the wrong thing and now they're out. They lose their job, right? Well, companies don't want to take a risk on someone that's already done that. I mean, how many comedians have had to come back and eat crow? Right? How many politicians have had to apologize for stuff? I mean, I've said things on the internet. I've gone to parties dressed like certain people. And if that stuff came out, people would be like, oh, you're a horrible person. You're a terrible person. I'm not. I'm not. But it doesn't matter because when they're trying to sell a bunch of whatever it is their product is, they're worried. They're worried about other sponsors. They're worried about alienating their customers and things like that. So we all just kind of have to be a little bit more careful right now. Honestly, I worry a little bit about my oldest. He's done a couple rap songs on SoundCloud. I'm like, I don't know, man. Someone is not going to be running for office. Let's just say that. I think we all can agree on that. Right? So just some thoughts on social media. Write it down, carve out half an hour, get in there, lock your stuff down. You can lock down some of your LinkedIn stuff. You can lock down some of your Facebook stuff. You can edit, hide, delete. Just do it. You've been warned. Now let's move on to some really cool stuff. Okay. Oh, I did that one already. Okay, most common resume gaps. Let's grab some resumes. I liked that one a lot. Oh, look at these people. You guys, it's like, wow, they're nice. They're pretty. I hope the people who did the pretty ones aren't the only ones who sent them across. No, this is cool. You guys have done some nice stuff. Okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resumes. Okay, of the 5 people that sent your resumes, first of all, thank you. It's awesome. We're going to look at some right now. How many here had help with their resumes of the 5? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then 2 did not? 2 just like did them 100% on your own? Involvement, guys, engagement, not a TED Talk. Yes, no?
Yeah, I had help.
No? Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these awesome features. And I'm going to start with, let's see. Let's start with Lauren. Lauren's got a design resume. Okay. Can everybody see this?
We can.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so first of all, it's very pretty. It's a 1-pager and it goes back about 3 years, 4 years. So that works. It's a design resume. Lauren, thank you for sharing this. I love that Lauren's got her email, her portfolio, and her phone number up here. The one thing that I'm not seeing is your city, and that can be really helpful. So, think about it. When we're in a cloud world now, right? I mean, we can work anywhere. I think I've had one job order in 2.5 years that needed someone to actually show up, right? So that means that where you actually work matters, but it doesn't matter as much. So you don't have to show your street address. You don't need someone, Google flying into your front door of your apartment necessarily. I wouldn't put that down, but it might make sense to include your zip code, okay? Because when these systems like Monster Indeed, or even internal systems. Let's say a larger company like Nike will capture that off of your resume and then put it in. And then if there's an actual on-site job within a specific location, you might get pinged or tagged for it. So consider putting your zip code in, and consider putting your city or the general metro area that you live in. So if you live in Vancouver, Washington, well, you could put Vancouver. But if you're applying for a job to someone in Austin, they've never heard of Vancouver, Washington, they might think it's 4 hours away. You know what I mean? So you can just go ahead and put in Portland or Portland metro area. That's not a bad way to go also. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense.
Josh, one thing I was going to add, based upon the resume that you were just showing, it is a tailored design document. One of the things about ATS systems, they read left to right, top to bottom. And something like this on some of the ATS systems, that actually might even throw the resume out because it will read left to right, top to bottom. If it sees 2 columns, ATS reads almost like an OCR scanner, and it may have a problem reading this resume.
You're right. It might have some issues. You can see that these are actually still hyperlinked, right? So that works. You know, with my own ATS, I haven't had too much of an issue. These things usually port, and they port well. But you're right, it could be an issue. So sometimes having your name and then just kind of doing the standard contact information beneath the name, making sure that your first name, so that your first name isn't UI and your last name designer, right? It knows that your first name's Laura and last name Pucci.
And,
so it's a really
in addition, the 2 columns, the one that's on the left and there's one on the right, that actually may throw off the ATS system because it will read the left side and it will read all the way to the right.
Right.
So
and so you might consider swapping this over. I will tell you, Lauren, it's a pretty design and there are good colors, but I really like readability. So I tend to recommend that people avoid any document that requires color to print or that makes it a little bit harder to read. So I'm going to give you an example of how fast I generally read a resume. Like a document like this. This is about how long it will take me to look. So we'll just start the clock starting now. Okay, I'm done. All right, so I'm trying to capture as much information as possible, and I'm either going to delete it, archive it, or stick it in my upload file or A or B pile for something. So when we have a darker color like this, with black on top, it just doesn't pop, and it creates eye strain, right? Let's look at a resume that might have a little bit less eye strain, and we can kind of get a sense of what that looks like here. Okay. All right, just had to be fancy, didn't you? Here we go. All right, oh, there we go. Okay. Whoa. Okay, guys. So hopefully you can kind of see the difference, right, between this and this. It's just easier to read, right? So I know that designers in general want to do some sort of design on their resume. It's okay. Just let your portfolio speak for you. That's my recommendation, coming from you know, the creative stuff that I've done. I've spent, I don't know, decade and a half working with ad agencies and placing creatives in addition to technologists. So I do think that white is the best way to go. Okay, let's stick with Lauren here. Okay, so I love this UI designer. You're telling everyone what you're all about right up front, which is great. Guys, when we are sharing our resume with someone, we have to send it to, and we have to basically write it and articulate our successes and everything that we've done for the CEOs, the owners, the VPs, the head of marketing, and for the $15 an hour recent HR grad who's never screened resumes in their life, and make it really obvious to them. And so because of that, I really like that you put, you know, UI designer. You're just telling them instead of making them hunt through. Again, this is the speed thing. We want 7-10 seconds, like get as much information across as possible. It's so critical. All right, let's go back to it. So we've got your skills, strengths. Okay, that's all great. Achievements. Okay, cool. Some artistic achievements, which is terrific. All right, let's look here. Now we've got your education right up front and the projects. This again, this about me. I don't love where it is, right? I'm just less. My eyes want to read the lighter side. Okay, does that make sense, Lauren? Hopefully it does. So I'm used to, for all the resumes that I go through, I'm used to seeing it more like here, like a professional summary. So we're going to switch now. We're going to switch over to Lyman's. Okay, let's read it out loud. A passionate full stack developer, Lyman specializes in backend development. He enjoys writing clean code, puzzling out logic in the clearest way possible, and speeding up runtimes. Yep, strong work ethic. Comes from 14 years of training. As a professional trombonist, I've got a trombone story for you, including 4 years of advanced degrees at 2 of the world's finest conservatories. Okay. 6 professional. Yeah, that's great. I love this. This is a great professional summary. I really, really like it. What it does is it talks about Lyman's actual qualities. Like, this is what he's known for, right? And that's a big deal. Like, what are you known for? What's special about you? I haven't really seen any crap resumes come in, so I know some of y'all are hanging on to them. You're like, I'm not showing it now. But the typical thing, which is like objective, to find a career in a challenging company where I can learn and grow my skills, gross, yucky, right? What I love about Lyman's is it's actually talking about what he enjoys. Like, he actually enjoys writing clean code. Some people don't. Some people like to write dirty code fast, right? And what do clients like? They like clean code. So it's cool. It's like, oh, you enjoy it. Strong work ethic, great. Advanced degrees, great. Teamwork, kindness, preparedness, ability to take criticism. Oh my God, that is so awesome, right? Now, the one thing that I would say this doesn't necessarily say, like, it talks about you, it talks about your career, and some of your qualities. So spot on there, but it doesn't necessarily tie it into what the client or the hiring manager's objectives are, right? So what is it that you're going to do for them, right? And it's a way of framing it, right? So is there something in here that we could just kind of reframe, right? Employers will find that, I'm easy to manage, I report up, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Right? Is there a quote? Is there something that you've done in the past that you've been acknowledged for that demonstrates how you're either going to save the company time, money, or solve a problem that someone else can't solve? Okay. So again, this is a very good example. You really don't have to change this. I think it's great. We are missing the title. So whereas Lauren's had the UI designer here, I think that would be great. Lyman McBride, right? Web developer, whatever you want to say, right? I think that's a really good idea to put that up there and make it obvious to that brand new HR graduate so that there's no question at all about what you got up to. Okay. Let's go through here. Technical experience, Prosper IT Consulting, internship. Cool. Okay. Built a web app. Yep. Used Beautiful Soup. Yep. Okay. So some things going on here that are kind of cool. We've got a number. This is a quantification, right? And when we, as recruiters or hiring managers, see numbers, it activates a different part of our brain. It slows us down, actually, is what it does. I also like that nothing in here looks like a job ad description. I really want, here's the deal, guys. Someone send me a shitty resume, like right now, please send me a shitty resume, because these are good. And the other, 18 people who maybe need some help, I need to show them what's wrong. So I can pull something out. I can show you if you want. But I really want to use one of yours. So let's go. Let's get active. Click, send, shoot it over to me. Send me your average resume. Send me your crappy resume. Let's fix it. Let's fix it right now. Okay. Built hundreds of web pages using Episerver CMS. Okay. So a couple things I want to talk about here. And I'm going to share a slide. I'm going to share this, which is a qualify times quantify equaling a result. We're going to get into this right now, Okay, and then we're going to go back and we're going to look at some of the other gaffes that people make, and then we're going to spend whatever time we've got left talking about interviews and helping to ensure that you're having the best interview possible. Okay, so here's an example. I see this a lot, right? Picks apples, writes code, right? PHP developer, what JavaScript developer, whatever it is, right? And almost every resume I see, the majority of their bullet points actually looks like a job description. So when you get a, when you've got your resume and we look at your bullets, okay, this is a little bit different. There's no bullets on this. I do recommend bullets, Katerina. You've got them here, which is cool around technology, but there are two kinds of people, the people who like paragraphs and the people who like bullets. And so it's a really good idea to help both of them. And the idea is that when we're using our bullets, those are really strictly for our accomplishments. And our accomplishments are going to look like this. We're going to qualify them, we're going to quantify them, and then we're going to give a result. Q squared equals R. All right, guys, this is the golden stuff. So screenshot this, okay? Definitely screenshot this. Now, I have people tell me all the time, you know what? I can't do it. I'm a developer. I'm not going to quantify this stuff, or I can't qualify this stuff. I'm a developer. It's like, no, yeah, you can do it. You're just not thinking hard enough about it, or having enough flexibility around the way that you're thinking about the work that you do. So let's kind of look at it. Okay. Picks apples, right? You can see that on a job description. You need an apple picker, so you will be picking apples. Okay, picks apples. Now we're going to qualify it for the largest apple producer in the state. Okay, every time, the pinks are just every time we're adding something new. Okay, picks apples for the largest apple producer in the state. All right, so that's akin to saying, well, okay, Suzuki Academy of Columbia and USC. All right, well, how big is Suzuki Academy? How many people are there? How many students do they support, right? How long have they been around? I imagine they've been around a long time. How long have they been around? What's the context of that? And I got to tell you, I think it's just awesome how many people are involved in coding who come from a music background. It's because you guys love symbolic languages. You can see I've got this keyboard back here. I'm not very good with symbolic languages. I'm also not very good at piano. Okay, so we want to give some sort of context of this. Okay, Noventum Service Management Consultants, Financial Controller. Okay, cool job. You spent a lot of time there. You spent 9 years there. Oversaw the project management software, was responsible. Okay, but who are these people? Is that your company, right? Who are they? Like, how big is that company? Who did they serve? I don't want to have to go Google all this stuff, right? Like, that's kind of a, that's no fun. And I'm not going to do it. That's the reality is I'm probably not going to do it. Like, I'm going to guess. If I'm in the industry, maybe I'll know. But unless it's a Nike, IBM, Adidas, Intel, like a really household brand or common in the industry that you're, very prominent locally and everyone's going to know, we have to give some kind of context. Like, who are these people that you worked for? It's a 20-person company. It's a 165,000 person consulting firm, right? There's a difference. And the qualities that you bring to the party, your experience from your past history is going to reflect where you've been, where you spent time, how you were mentored, how you came up. So give some context to that, okay? I think that's really important. All right, exceeds apple picking quota by 22% for the largest apple producer in the state. So now we've quantified it. All right, you're awesome. By how much? By 22% awesome, more awesome. Blah, blah, blah. And then we've got the qualification. Now we've got the quantification. What's the result? Resulting in employee of the quarter, resulting in a bonus, resulting in a sore back from all that apple picking, right? So I want someone now to please tell me, what is something that you've done on your resume that you can qualify, quantify, and share a result on? Okay, go. Weak sauce, come on, go, let's go. You guys want jobs? Come on, just start talking, it'll come out.
I have on one of my things that I participated in a bi-weekly employee exchange with our sister location in Eugene to promote solidarity.
Okay, awesome. What was the result?
Oh, I thought the result was solidarity.
Well, okay, so that's what you did. You did this thing to promote solidarity, right? But what was the effect? Was there more communication? Did people get along friendlier afterwards?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it was between cities, more communication. One of the bigger location in Eugene produced all our materials. So like we'd go down there to get food, but we'd also, instead of just going and doing a delivery, we'd go and work a shift there, get to know what the flagship location was, get some additional training, and also
Yeah.
just get to know the folks down in Eugene.
And by getting to know them, what did that do for you?
I mean, it just made the whole work environment better. We did have like work events as well, you know, where we got together with everyone, and I probably would not have attended them had I not gone down there and worked with them.
Okay, so it allowed employees to develop new relationships across branches and interdepartmentally to facilitate working together, creating a better work environment.
Well,
Okay, cool. So there's a result. Do you see how, I mean, it's hard, guys. Like, this isn't easy stuff, right? It's easy for me to say and show you a slide. It's hard to sit there and you're like, oh God, what's the result, right? And I really stress, like, try not to have any bullets that don't have some sort of a result, right? Otherwise, it's just going to look like a job description, right? It's just going to look like everybody else's. We want to be the fastest. We want to be the, you know, the person that's ahead of the pack. Okay, what about something else? Someone else. This is a good exercise. Get the juices flowing around our brain. This is probably like the most critical thing, and I'll tell you why. This is so critical because if you can articulate this stuff on a resume, when else can you articulate it?
I have a question.
Okay, I'll take that question as soon as I get an answer. Not a TED Talk.
All right, I got one.
Okay.
This is Arlo. So I designed and developed a tool in Python to automate network switch configurations for a large, well-known company, saving probably about 15 minutes per device for multiple hundreds of devices throughout their infrastructure.
That is awesome, man. That's really great. So hundreds of devices. If you were to ballpark, how many hundreds? What do you think?
Probably like 800.
Okay, so 800 times 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Was that a daily, weekly, monthly thing?
Probably a weekly.
Okay, so what's 800 times 15? 12,000?
Yeah.
12,000 minutes divided by 60? What is that, 200 hours? I don't know. Is it? Oh, my noodle's working today.
200.
200 hours. Okay, 200 hours of machine time weekly. Now, do you see how we distill that? So awesome. First of all, good job on the accomplishment, man. That's awesome. Second, thank you for sharing. I totally appreciate it. And that's a really fun one because we've got an actual number and then we can kind of start mushing the numbers around and crunching it until it becomes like this very powerful statement, saving 200 hours of, you know, machine time per week.
Yep.
Pretty awesome, right?
Cool.
Guys, we can articulate these bullets on a resume. Two things happen. This is awesome stuff. Two things happen. The first thing that happens is we don't get asked that question in the interview, right? Their answer, right? And so we're already winning. Or two, we do get asked that question and we can answer it because we've thought about it and we can articulate it, right? I mean, when we're trying to get a job, we're basically trying to do a couple things, right? We're trying to, one, make sure that it's the right move for us. So we're trying to screen the company, feel them out, check them out mentally. Is this going to be the right thing for us? Is the money going to be right? Do I like the boss? Do I like the future? Is it going to give me the benefits that I want? All that sort of basic normal stuff, right? But then we have to articulate what we've accomplished. Articulate what we accomplished, okay? Not articulate what the job description was that you had, for 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, right? What did you actually accomplish? What did you do different than everyone else? And I can tell you guys right now, all of you have done something. I mean, look at you. You're here on a beautiful day inside hanging out with me. Like, you're doing something. Like, this is a good thing. This is an investment in yourself. You guys are either in school or considering school. You guys are all investing in yourselves right now. Like, I think it's awesome. Like, I love that. I love that. I really do. So, like, give yourselves a pat on the back, right? And now you just take it to the next level. Now you get to articulate that that's the kind of person that you are, right? Every one of you now gets to say that you invest in yourself so that you can be better, have more value to offer to a future employer. Like, that's fantastic. You know how many people aren't doing that? I've got a whole tent city down the street here full of people who aren't, but you don't even have to go that far, you know, to figure out that most people don't invest in themselves accurately, that most people can't articulate what they're good at. I paid someone $400, like, I don't know, 20 years ago to do my resume. And I got it back and I started reading it. And you know what I did? I was like, oh my God. My wife at the time, she said, what is it? What is it? I was like, I'm awesome. Like, I was shocked because it was all true. She just kind of pulled it out of me. So you guys can partner up, right? You can work with each other. You can work with your family, or you can just sit down and be like, okay, I'm just going to like answer all of these questions and really figure out, like, what did I achieve? Well, what did that do? What did that do? What did that do? But who did that benefit, right? What was the result? Maybe you need to ask yourself, well, who did this benefit, right? What did they get out of it, right? I mean, I think most people know that our compensation is it's tied to how many people and how to help others, right? Like, that's actually a formula. It works. It works, right? That's why.
Can you say that formula again? It didn't come through clearly on my end, and I want to hear what that was.
Just that, you know, your value, like your compensation is directly tied to the value that you bring to the company or to the clients, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. It is, right? So I just placed a solution architect last week. He's going to start next week. He's going to get paid $220,000 a year and a 20% bonus on top of that, right? This guy provides a lot of value. Like, he's senior, he's done his stuff, he knows what's up, right? But he can build really big systems. He can do it, right? He can build the whole house, not just build the door that goes on the front of the house. You see what I mean? He provides a lot of value, and there's scarcity around there. Not as many people can do the thing that he did. If everyone could do the thing that he did, well, he'd be 50 grand a year, 60 grand a year, right? So the goal with your career is just be able to do the things that the other people cannot. If you're, you know, working in a coffee shop right now, or working in a job that you hate and you want to go do something different, or, you know, no matter what you're doing, right? Walking dogs, or, you know, you're an attorney and you hate the law and you just want to like code, like whatever it is that you're doing, you know what I mean? You just got to make sure that over time, you're doing more than the other people, and you're putting yourself into that scarcity, like highly desirable bracket. That's where you deliver more value, and there are fewer people who can do that thing that you do. And that's how you make more money. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Yeah. So, okay, cool. I feel like I should have booked a 4-hour session here. Okay. Does everyone understand this? Qualify times quantify equals a result? I think that we should probably move on from here and talk a little bit about interviews, because we only have 15 minutes left. And I think that's really important, right, to figure it out. But before that, does anybody have a question? Oh, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let me go here and talk about the gaffes real quick. Okay. All right. Couple things, guys. Screenshot this. First of all, you don't want to get lost. If you've got your resume, make sure you're titling it correctly. For you, it's resume.doc, right? But for other people, they want to see your first and last name on there, right? So make sure that you're titling your resume so that when they save their resume to their file, they can find you easily. Just type in your name and whatever. Find a resume. Oh, look, there's me. I'm going to show you a good resume. This is one that's 3-4 years old. And we'll just cover this super fast. Can everybody see this okay? All right. I'm hearing your nods, so that's cool. All right. So this is very kind of old fashioned, like straightforward. And then Katerina, this is what I mean. Like we've got a paragraph and then we've got bullets. Do you see what I mean? So I'm kind of like hitting it with both, right? Talking about what I'm known for. I'm making it really obvious what I do, what industries I'm in. I've hyperlinked certain things here. Okay. And then I've got one sentence that describes the organization. Okay. And then the rest are all like numbers, right? Numbers. I'm in sales and staffing. And so my numbers are around money, right? For the most part, mostly around money. Okay. Almost everything, not everything, but almost everything. Oh, look, Tech Academy. Look at that. Most everything has a number, even if it's a date. Numbers, number, date, number. Let's see, number, date, right? Lots of numbers, 63%, right? 58%. Like just got to kill it with that stuff. Okay. Now mine's 4 pages because I'm old, I'm allowed. I kind of look at it like, you get about a page for every decade that you're working. Really, like I think that's a good way to go. If you're in your late 20s, you can rock 2 pages, and then by the time you're in your 40s, if you've had like a really storied career, it's okay to go 4 pages. Don't be afraid. Don't try and cram 10 pounds into a 5-pound bag. I don't think that makes sense. Talk about your stuff. Do you have awards? Do you have other accomplishments? If you've been whatever, did you run a marathon? Are you in a band? Did you travel with that band? Like, what did you do, right? Did you compete in sports or anything like that? Some sort of accomplishment thing. That's a really great way to demonstrate some of your personality with people also. Okay. Missing contact info. Yeah, I've seen lots of these resumes come in where they just put the last letter of the first letter of the last name, right? Or they don't include the phone number, or the phone number is buried in a footer, and it's hard to find. Again, we covered summary. What will you do for them? Jobs. We talked about this, giving some context of what your employers do, just one line. We covered Q squared equals R. This is the last one. There is no I in resume. So we saw, was it Arlo's resume? I can't remember whose we just looked at. No, it wasn't Arlo's. Sorry. It was not Lauren's. Here we go, Lyman. Okay, so Lyman, when we say he enjoys and we're talking third person, it gets kind of weird. Like, we know you wrote it, right? So I recommend just saying enjoys. Like, you just take out the I, take out the he, take out sort of any sort of third party communication in your summary or in your accomplishments. Just state it, right? So that would kind of look like, well, passionate full stack developer, Lyman specializes in backend development. That's fine. Enjoy, and then just say enjoys writing clean code, right? Takes all the skills. Just drop the he, drop the I. It'll just read a little bit better. It just won't be just a little funny. Does that make sense, guys? I know it's so nitpicky, right? Who's this guy, Josh? He's so nitpicky. Leave it alone. It's a good resume, Josh. Okay. All right, let's talk about interviews. Who here has done video interviews before? Just raise your hand if you've been interviewed by video. No one. Okay. Who thinks that at some point in their career they will get
Arlo did raise their hand, just so you know.
Oh,
I don't
did?
know.
All right.
Yeah, it was just the little hand raise button.
Oh, as a hand raise. Oh, I see it. And
I see Adam Kelly as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. I didn't even know that. I'm like a Zoom guy, this whole Google thing. Okay, cool. Thank you. Really appreciate that. All right. So what I want to do now is I just want to talk about interviewing, and I'm going to stop presenting, and you guys can just kind of see me here. All right. There are some major gaffes when it comes to interviewing. Okay. One of them is just the like overall lighting. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, but I've got this like little SAD lamp because I get sad. I get sad in the winter. So I have this thing on, but I've got this little thing. If I get rid of this, if I get rid of this light, just start to get kind of a little bit gray washed, a little bit darker. I know I still look okay, but seriously, like a little bit of light is really nice. It's your setup can kind of get weird. I've got this big old microphone. It's a pretty good microphone, right? I can do my Friday night DJ voice. But you want to make sure that you look good and you sound good. Okay, it's really important. And to do that, we're going to do a couple things. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the camera that we're looking at is pretty much eye level. See, like this. Now, if I was on even my laptop, check this out. Okay, so there's my laptop, and even my laptop is elevated, right? Got a little stand. I think it was $15, maybe $20. So when you're having interviews, oh God, there we go. Okay, so when you're having interviews, grab a stack of books. Put your laptop on it. If you don't have a movable camera like this, put your laptop on it, lift it up, get eye level, right? Think newscaster, right? Center, a little bit of space above your head. Most of you guys are doing a really good job of that, especially Kenzie. She's got it rock and roll, right? The other thing is we want to be centered. We want to be looking. It's a really powerful thing when we're being interviewed. If every once in a while, even though it'll feel a little bit weird, when every once in a while we just look directly at the camera like this and we're talking to the interviewer. You know, hey man, that's a great question. Let me tell you what's up, right? So it's a little bit different, right? My girlfriend lives not near here. And so when we talk, sometimes I'll just like look, like it's like looking her right in the eye, right? So you can do that when you're talking to people also, right? So we want to frame ourselves. We want to make sure that we've got a relatively clean background, right? Most of you guys have pretty good backgrounds, but we want it to be relatively clean. We also want to make sure that we don't have too much backlight. I don't think I can give you an example right now, but backlight is when like we're back to a window, like, so it's a bright sunny window and then our face is all dark. It just doesn't work well. You're in the shadows. Again, watch the video on my website. I go in detail about it. The other thing is you want to keep your lens clean. A lot of people, it's fuzzy. And you know what? It's just mushy. Like you just need to get a little microfiber cloth and give it a little wipe down, right? People pick up their laptops and by the edge and put their thumbprints all over the lens all the time. We don't even think about that stuff, right? Other things to think about. You want to make sure that your internet connection is awesome. Like it's really good. You want to make sure that it's quiet. Right. So if you've got kids, someone's looking after them. If you've got a yippy dog, someone's, bring them to the pound. Whatever you need to do to like have it be a little bit quiet, right? Like do those things. But you really want to make sure that you've got light. Like even putting that little light on might help a little bit. And it will feel weird because it's not going to feel natural. Like you're just sitting at your desk. You're actually going to feel like you're a little bit like, on stage, and you are. So make sure that you're investing in it enough. It's not the end of the world, but like if I'm looking at all of these, right? And clearly like Rick's got it going on, Kenzie's got it going on, Neil's got it going on, Paul's mostly got it going on. I'm liking Paul's background, but I can only see above his neck. Now, normally if I was going to actually get interviewed myself, this is what I'd be doing. I'd be sitting a little bit further back. Does anybody know why I would want to do that? Any guesses?
More relaxed?
So, yeah, maybe a little more relaxed, but more animated, right? I probably should have been doing this the whole time, right? So now I can be like, oh my God, that's an awesome question. Let me tell you what I did back in 2005. We had this tiny little team and I grew it to this and I did blah, 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 blah. Now they can see my hands. And when people can see your hands, automatically it's more trust. Think of politicians. They're always doing this, right? They're always doing this and showing their hands, right? And it automatically builds more trust psychologically. It's silly, but it's real, right? Hey guys, how's it going? Right? You'll see this on YouTube all the time. People are like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for joining my webinar today. This is really awesome. Okay, who's ready? Like they do it all the time. It just kind of keeps people like engaged, right? So if you pull back a little bit, and you don't have to overdo it, but you could like kind of do it a little bit here and there. Who's that? Oh, like Ramsey? Who's that chef? Right? He's always like, okay, you know, he's always doing this stuff. So you just pull it back a little bit so that they can see your hands and you get a little bit animated. So lighting, audio, AirPods work great, right? If it's really noisy, they're pretty good about knocking off some of the outside sound also. You can also get something called Crisp. Has anyone heard of Crisp with a K? Crisp is a little piece of software that sits on your phone and it automatically just like gets rid of all background noise. It just focuses on your voice. So they could be doing construction outside, your 3 yippy dogs are going crazy, your 4-year-old's going nuts, and you're gonna be crystal clear. So consider getting that software too. And I think you can get it for your laptop or for your computer also. So that's Crisp with a K. The other thing that we wanna do, and this is a really important one, there's 2 things, okay? One of them is don't wiggle. Don't be doing this. People do this, like the pee-pee dance. Don't do that, right? It's like, it's so lame. Honest to God, ugh, it's so lame. I see it all the time. I see it every week when I talk to people. They're like, well, I did this and then I did that. And it's like, I almost think they're going to start talking about their like rainbow sticker collection. It's like, come on, like, you know, be a professional, sit still. If you do that kind of thing naturally, it's okay. Like, don't beat yourself up on it. It's just called self-soothing behavior. It's like wringing your hands or like rubbing your hands or like, you know, shrugging or wiggling or rocking or all that stuff or wiggling your foot. I used to work next to this guy. It was like this next to him. He shook the whole floor. I'm like, dude, cut it out. Anyway, it's just that self-soothing behavior. So, you know, you don't have to take a Xanax or anything. You just want to go get yourself a chair that doesn't spin or rock, right? Just set yourself up for success from the beginning, okay? If you know that you do that, then don't do that, right? The other thing that you want to do is just make sure that you're like clean and tidy, okay? So a lot of people, they're going to like, particularly if it's going to be client facing, if you're going to go work for a consulting firm, you're going to talk to all of these clients, right? They want to know that you're going to look good, right? So the big no-no is, in general, if possible, avoid the bed or the bedroom, right? We can see, hey, yeah, but you've got a cool bedroom. But like for Rick, like he's got a screen, right? It's great. Like you can just pick up these screens. You can find them on Craigslist probably for $40. I know yours was like $600, Rick, but like you could just go get a screen like that and put it in the back. You can also do that kind of magic fake background screen thing. Not a massive fan of it. It can get a little bit weird. You know, if it's your only alternative, fine, but it's not ideal, right? It's not ideal. If you can avoid it, then avoid it. But the main thing is like light, good audio, test your connections, get online early so that you can be rocking and rolling. All right. Now,
I'm curious what you think about like this blur as opposed to a fully fake background. So I have mine blurred right now just because I am in my room.
Yeah.
And let me see.
Kenzie, do you have a bunk bed?
It's just a lofted bed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I've hung a tapestry under it to try and block some of the light from that window and also just to block the underbed area.
Yeah, it's smart. It's cool. Yeah, I like the blur. I would blur all my stuff. I've got like one of those for my camera. I've got like one of those blurring short lenses, but I just always wind up making videos on my iPhone. It's just a lot faster to process, but I thought I was going to do the blur. But yeah, I think it looks cool.
I also put the, just so everyone knows, I put the website for Crisp in the chat box if anyone's curious about looking into that. I'm not sure what it says about me that when I typed in Crisp with a K, it automatically changed it to Krispy Kreme, the donuts.
Those are the best.
They're so good.
They're so good. They're so good. I could just knock down a whole box of those right now. All right. I think we've got just a little bit of time for questions. I'm going to point everyone still, go to the salesforcerecruiter.com / I think it's blog-post. Just go there. You'll see articles. Click on that. You can also go to YouTube and type in Josh Force and subscribe. I go into way more depth, and I'll show you an article. You can check out this article where I go way, way deep into the different platforms, the lighting, the different cameras, more of what we've just talked about, audio. Oh yeah, here's something like never interview when you are without using some sort of tripod or stand. If you're on your phone, like, don't do it. Don't hold it, right? Even if you're going to sit in the car, you can get one of these things, clamp your iPhone to it, wrap it on the steering wheel. If you have to do that, do that. But don't talk and hold your phone at the same time. And then there's some good examples. This is what I mean by bad backlighting. Okay. So you can, yeah, and this is what can happen.
Oh, I don't. Are you trying to share
Not sharing.
your screen?
Oh God,
All good.
What a dum. Here we go.
Kenzie will help you out.
Thank you. All right. So I was just sharing here, like, whoops. So here is some of my articles. I really recommend everybody check out this article. You can sign up to receive notifications. I've got a video also, but this one's a little bit more detailed about lighting, cameras, framing, set design, audio, managing distractions, behaviors to avoid, one-way interviews, and things like that. Okay, so you can check that out. All right. I think that's about all the time that we have, but I want to make sure that I cover one last. Do we have time for just one last final point, Kenzie? Rick?
Oh, yeah, honestly, you can,
Sure.
we often run over a little bit, but obviously we value your time. So whenever you need to go, you can go, but you're welcome to continue on.
Okay.
And people can leave if they need to, but
Okay.
we got time.
All right, cool. Well, this is what I wanted to cover. Like the number one thing that you can do to accelerate your career, right? It's this stuff is so critical. And I was thinking about this over the last week, and I talk about some of this stuff on my shows. Guys, seriously, like there's like a million number one things you can do for your career, right? Like there are, but we want to just talk about the thing for you. Like, what is it that you need to do? And I'll tell you, like, there's kind of a general thing that I'll just say right now before I share the next slide. And that general thing is this. People don't take this gigantic scope and point it at themselves. They don't self-examine enough, right? They don't do it. I mean, I've talked to thousands. It says 7,000. I've talked to like 9,000 people by now, interviews. And the number one thing that just like kills me, that will automatically like screen someone out, is they don't take responsibility for where their life is. They blame, they point fingers, they ignore certain things. So I have some questions that I ask that are very like highly designed questions to identify and uncover a lot of different things, and you cannot hide from it. You can't hide from this question. If you want to learn more about that question, you can go ahead and check it out on my website. But you can't hide from it, right? And I'm really looking for people who are, real with themselves. Right? Like they know what they're awesome at. They know where they are shooting themselves in the foot. So that's what I think, but I thought I'd just share, this is the critical thing for everyone with their career, is to do the thing that's hardest and to do it right now. It's so important to do it now and the hardest, those two things. I kind of want to take just 30 seconds and ask people to just take this time before you get on with the rest of your day and make another cup of Keurig coffee and do whatever you're going to do, right? And enjoy the sun. This is so important. Like we are all right now in the midst of not doing a thing that we know is really important for us to do, whatever it is. What is that thing? Update my resume, work harder at school, right? Maybe it's like learn how to speak up for yourself, right? Maybe it's improve communication skills. Maybe it's smile more when we meet people. I had to do that. My best friend Damien, he smiled easily at everybody. I wasn't. I was like freaking cop face. Look, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm super happy. What's up? Like just getting more comfortable, learning to smile more, opening yourself up to people, right? Talking less, asking more questions, being more interested in other people, right? Asking your boss, what do you think's great about me? Or what can I work on? For some people, the hardest thing for them is to do a good job at the job that they've got, even if they don't like it. That might be the hardest thing. That would accelerate your career. If your boss said, hey, I know they didn't like the work very much, but they sure applied themselves. I hate to see them go, but I'm happy for them. Like, what would that mean if you were meeting a new, getting a reference call for the job of your dreams and your manager said that instead of you sitting in that interview saying like, oh, I don't like this job that much. I'm ready for something else. Not good, right? So can we just do that? Think real quick. What's a thing that we can do for ourselves? This is an act of love, by the way, to ourselves, to do the hard thing. Mark Twain had that saying. It was like, eat the frog. Does anyone hear this? Like, I want to wake up every day, and if I wake up every day and eat, and the first thing I do is like swallow a frog, then everything else for the rest of the day will be the easiest things. It'll be the easiest things to do, right? Swallow the frog. So the same goes for all of you. Each of you, and I don't know your personal stories, but each of you probably wants something that you don't have right now, right? And it's usually not just like, a McLaren sports car, right? It's usually something that has to do with your sense of happiness or your sense of fulfillment, right? Generally, a lot of it's peace of mind. Financial peace of mind is a big one, right? Emotional peace of mind because you're surrounding yourself with the right people, right? Maybe you are addicted to something that you don't want to be addicted to anymore. That's a real thing. Some people can just be addicted to like dumb friends that hold them back. You know what I mean? Like you guys are all the average of the company you keep, for real, right? So that's a big one. Some of you might want to surround yourselves. If you guys are taking this big step to do something about your career, right? Like how many of your friends are doing that step? You could be the leader and encourage them, but if not enough follow, you guys moving on the right path for yourselves. You might want to make new friends in addition to the old ones. Surround yourself with the people who are already doing this work. They're already successful, right? You go to join a new company, it's easy to fall in line with the talkative one who wants to be the new person's friend, right? And be like, oh, come with me and I'll show you around. Well, they want you as their new friend because they're not friends with anyone else. They've already burned those bridges. Be wary when you join that new company. Be careful of the friends that you make. Align yourself with hardworking people who are smart, who do the right thing, who make good decisions, who are supportive, who are kind. You know what I mean? So I just want to kind of leave you with that. Like, do the hard thing. It's not easy. It sucks. It's hard. It's okay. And when you do it, you'll be like so stoked. You'll be so proud of yourselves. And you'll know that you can conquer anything. Getting a job, especially trying out a new career, and God forbid, learning code. I mean, for me, good luck. We're trying to learn to read music. It's so hard for me, So I just want to leave everyone with that. Do the hardest thing. That's the very best thing that you can do for your career, whether it's related to your career or related to your personal life. Because if you can solve that thing, people will sense like that kind of glow that you've got, if that makes sense. All right. Any questions? You bet, Radhika. Thank you. Thanks, Priyanka.
Yeah, I don't see any questions. Feel free to pipe up over a microphone if anyone has questions as well.
Or you can leave a question in the chat as well.
Yeah, I like that, Priyanka. Manage study time and kids' time better. Yeah, you can check out asianefficiency.com. That's a really great website. I'm a lifetime member there. They focus on T, which is your time, energy, or attention. Time management too. Okay. Yeah. Time management's an issue for me too. It's my problem is attention. I get distracted easily. So type in T and Asian efficiency, and you'll find some really good information on how you can better manage your time using calendars, using all sorts of different techniques, task lists, reminders, things like that. A lot of their stuff is based on GTD, or getting things done technique. Planning, I do a Sunday plan Sunday night, spend 2 hours, map out my calendar, color code everything. That is so not me. I'm Mr. Seat of the Pants guy, but it's really allowed me to get a lot more done. Being able to say no, you bet, Radhika. Being able to say no, that's a really hard one. It's really hard with the kids too. Really hard to say no to the kids, because we make up these excuses like, but I love them so much. Yeah. Well, love comes in a lot of different ways, and sometimes it's discipline, that kind of stuff. Protecting your time so you can get all the things done that you need to do. Putting your oxygen mask on. All right, Katerina. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Adam. Imposter syndrome.
I can definitely resonate with that.
So tell me what you mean by that. I mean, I've heard of it, but you feel like an imposter?
I'll say it just because it's easier than typing it. Imposter syndrome is like when you, like, let's say when I get my first tech job, it'll feel like I shouldn't actually be there. That there's somebody more qualified out there, that I'm only here because of a mistake, and any like one mess up I'll make, they'll find out that I shouldn't actually be in the position that I am.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really normal, Adam. It's really normal. You know, it's there are some things that you can do about that. Affirmations, like I've never really gelled with affirmations for whatever reason. I've got too much Al Franken in my childhood to like take it seriously sometimes, but for real, like telling yourself daily that you deserve it, like that you're worth it, that you're a worthwhile person, that you're smart. It matters. It really does. It matters, you know. And again, surrounding yourself with the people who can affirm that. Oftentimes we come from experiences where there's a lot of negativity, or people have put us down, or people who are really close to us, maybe they didn't support us enough, or maybe they didn't see the best qualities in us. And that can really kind of wreak havoc in some big ways, but in some really subtle ways too, to feel like, I wonder if everyone doesn't sort of have a little bit of imposter syndrome. You know, trust me, I was like, you know, screw corporate America. I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to wear a tie. I was just like, no way, not me, right? Forget it. And then, you know, flash forward. I mean, you guys don't know this, but I moved to Portland in 1996 in a van with my dog. We lived at the bottom of Cooch Park, and I drove around from construction site to construction site, seeing if they wanted me to sweep up or build a wall or do whatever. Sold steaks out of the back of a truck for cattle bins, door knocking. I mean, I did like whatever I could, make a little bit of money. I didn't have a college degree yet, you know. And then when I flash forward, like all I wanted at the time was a $20,000 a year career, like a job. Like that to me was going to be amazing, right? I made 40 grand last week, right? You can have these. I don't get to keep all of it. I have to pay for my business too. But like, you can have these experiences where it's like, is this for real? Like, do I even deserve to be here? I went to these award ceremonies with Robert Half and I was crushing it. And I'm looking around and I just felt like an outsider, Adam, like just like you might be feeling or be concerned that you're feeling about. I mean, I think it's really normal. I think it's really normal. Just tell yourself you deserve it. You deserve it. We get what we deserve, guys, with whatever lot we've drawn. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like that whole personal accountability thing. It goes both ways. I was actually writing some stuff about this last night because I was thinking, oh, what's the number one thing? Well, personal accountability. Well, personal accountability isn't just like taking stock of the things that you need to work on that might be negatively affecting other people or negatively affecting yourself. It's also the taking accountability for the successes that you've achieved and owning those, right? You don't just get to own the dumb shit that you've done. You get to own all the cool stuff and the successes and rewards. It's so important. Know that, right? Like it's really, really important to know that, you know, a lot of people need to know that they aren't as awesome as they think they are, right? But more people need to know that they are way more awesome than they think they are or have been told they are. That is the truth, I think. So make sure that you're owning all of it, buddy. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I like to take my inner dialogue and then pretend that I'm talking about like one of my best friends instead of myself. And if it's something that I would never ever say to them, then I try to maybe evaluate why I'm saying it to myself. And then on the reverse, you know, sometimes just checking in with a good friend and being like, what are some of my positive characteristics? Why are you friends with me? And hearing that externally from someone can really help to just remind yourself that yes, you are awesome.
I love that, Kenzie. That's really good advice. You know, my girlfriend will sometimes like, I'll be like, oh, I think I'm getting fat again. And she'll be like, hey, you're talking about my man. Like, you know,
Yeah, don't talk about my
don't talk
man
about him
like that.
like
Don't
that.
talk about my best friend like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a really, it's a learned behavior to this sort of self-talk that we have around ourselves, and it can be detrimental. But it's fixable. It's fixable. You know, you can counteract it, and what happens is you'll think, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that to myself, and eventually you start to move that needle before you even say it.
Yeah.
And then you start saying really nice things about yourself too. Yeah. Look, all of you guys are here because you wanted to learn, and some of you stuck around, which is fantastic, right? So, you know, again, like big pat on your back. You guys all deserve, I think, a round of applause. I'm going to clap you. Come on, let's clap us out. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is an awesome thing. You guys are all investing in yourselves, and I just love it. I'm really proud of you guys for sticking around for this long, almost a full hour and a half. And look, hit me up on LinkedIn. If you do, you got to give me a note. You got to be like from Tech Talk or from Tech Academy, or I might not add you. So just let me know that you're on this show today, and I'll be sure to add you, and happy to answer any questions other people have. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. And thanks for everyone that joined us today for this talk. Feel free, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I've got Josh's information. So if y'all need anything in regards to this session that we just had, feel free to reach out to me on email. And yeah, thanks again for joining us. Josh and everyone else, we really appreciate you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
All right. Thanks, Kenzie. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, Josh, that was great. Thank you very much, and inspirational as always.
All right. My pleasure. Take care, guys. Enjoy your weekend.